Jag from Jaggy Sports here, and there's a topic saying this Kyrie's return, did it create a bad example for people in the Nets organization, and not only Nets organization, but in the NBA and in the entire sports world? I think that it might have, because the thing is, it's just you know you you're letting first you're making a rule, and then you're not sticking to it. You're backtracking and saying, okay, we'll let you anyway. you know it's not about vaccinations, it's not about mandates, it's about making the rule, and then going against your own rules to to let it happen just to win the title. And you know it is what it is. Check out this clip.
Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving have both cleared COVID protocols, with Durant set to return sometime this week. And Kyrie, he's still TBD. Remember, he still can't play at home because of New York City's COVID protocols. And Steve Nash says Kyrie's going to need some time to ramp up regardless. So for now, the team is eyeing the Nets outing in Indianapolis on January 5th for that return. So look, the Nets already on top in the East. So Monica, was it the right decision to bring Kyrie back?
Man, listen, I am not naive to think that when you are in a certain echelon of the game, you are given some credence that everybody else is not given. But to me, this sets a bad example for the Nets organization, the rest of their players, and of course, I know that the NBA is not necessarily tasked with being the moral compass for society, but I also thinks it sends a bad message to fans. We are assuming that everybody else on that roster was willing and excited about getting vaccinated, and no one else felt like, I have to do this because of my job. And now exceptions are being made for Kyrie. Again, not going to be naive to the fact that he is an elite talent in this league. However, to me, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth as a teammate. And honestly, and Swagoo, you know this, as a competitor, as a member of the Brooklyn Nets, all you want is the opportunity to play basketball, to earn your spot in practice, to earn your spot in valuable game minutes. And now if I'm anybody else other than Kyrie and obviously KD or James Harden, my minutes are compromised depending on whether I'm trying to play in a home game versus a road game. To me, it just it is not fair. The one thing that I enjoy about sports, for the most part, outside of referees that botch it on occasion, is that the rules are the rules, and they apply to everybody. Yeah. And this bend and flex of the rule, to me, I don't like it. I don't think that this was a good decision.
Well, Mon, listen. we can have our moral conversations, and I'm right in line with you based on that, because the Nets actually brought that type of energy about, we just gonna wash our hands with it and we'll play the season as currently constructed. So they went back on it. But you said the most important thing. We all know that we ain't operating on that plane anymore when it comes to sports. Listen, I cover the NFL more than anything, and the league has tried to be clean while doing dirty things, allowing guys to play who shouldn't be on the field. Look, your talent, America, Monica, Charlie, y'all know this. Your talent gives you a lot of leverage and a lot of leadway. And Kyrie is considered and is considered one of the top 75 players of all time, okay, with his ability and the things that he can do. So the Brooklyn Nets sat here and they said, okay, we looking at a season with KD and James Harden. That's a lot. Like, that's a lot. That's enough for you to have a successful team based on how they're doing in the East right now, balling out of their mind. But they're talking about a championship. And Mom, when you push, when I watched all of you guys before the season started, and I was as excited, I was hoping for a Lakers and a Brooklyn Nets, both teams healthy finals. Don't look like we gonna get that, because the Lakers ain't holding up their damn end of the bargain. But bringing Kyrie back is nothing to the Brooklyn Nets but more solidification that they'll end up in the finals. That's the only thinking that they have. It ain't about more. Like, because if the Brooklyn Nets really was serious initially about Kyrie Irving, they had all of that information. What were they mulling over in the beginning? They knew he wasn't vaccinated. They knew the situation that was happening in New York, and they came out after a while of deliberation and made this strong, firm statement that we just not going to have Kyrie be a part of the team. But we all know as that season goes along, and this playoff picture starts taking form and teams start realizing who each other are, we start figuring out things. I done saw COVID has been ravaging the NBA. I done seen 10-day contracts flying out the window. Man, I thought they was going to call me. I thought they was going to call me to give me a 10-day contract. I was waiting on the phone. But the bottom line is
I was waiting for the call.
Right, Charlie? But the bottom line is Kyrie's talent is the reason why Kyrie is back. And also the Brooklyn Nets are in, I'm sorry, fans. The Brooklyn Nets are a business. And that business is benefited by winning games and winning championships. And ultimately, we have to reshift our mind because sometimes it pains me and it boils my blood with certain situations evolving around things when we talk about morals. But I've seen it enough not to get in my feelings anymore about these teams compromising and relenting and going back on things that they previously believed because it was convenient and easy to say at the time.
Well, I'm sure they're probably feeling pretty good about their decision, too, now that the CDC released new recommendations shortening the isolation period. They're probably like, oh, well, it's no big deal anyways now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, well, let's also look at the East in general right now.
Just
Marcus,
tired. Just tired.
You know, every day we wake up and it's something different. What are you supposed to do? Marcus, you think the Nets are now the favorite in the East? They're number one right now, but you think down the stretch it's going to remain that way? Especially with Kyrie coming back?
Yeah, but it's hard because I do. I think that talent, and then to what scope? Like, how fast does Kyrie get going? We know what he does and how he changes the dynamic on the basketball court. When you talk about putting points on the board, like the Nets can just outscore you. We don't laud them for great defense, but I think they'll play it well enough in order to get through the East. Now, here's what I will say: the Milwaukee Bucks sitting there with championship pedigree. The Bulls are playing well. DeMar DeRozan having one of his best seasons ever. It's not going to be easy. The 76ers with Joel, and seem like they're finding kind of where their stride is. But right now, a team constructed with James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving coming back, they have a presence underneath the basket. They have Patty Mills who can knock shots down in clutch situations. So I think the Nets right now are the favorite.
So tell me what you guys think. Like I said, is it a bad example that they allowed Kyrie to be playing back again? Minus the vaccinations, minus the mandates, anything like that, was it a bad example that they set for Kyrie to come back because they had to retract on their own rules that they created, the Nets? So tell me what you guys think. Subscribe to this channel to get to all the premium content. Tell me what you guys think. Was it a bad example or not? And if so, I'd love to have an example of where that took place within the sports organizations that you guys are familiar with. Jag from Jaggy Sports.